Anyway, let's get started restoring this story, shall we?
It is indeed a one center story. But a moment.
A mechanical soldier sleeps amidst the detritus of a castle storehouse. Time has no meaning here. A minute is as an age. Until the day he meets the boy.
Oh shit, so this is in the past then.
The exhausted boy can only mutter three simple words.
Really getting 2D.
Let me rest. Seeking to help, the man begins rooting around to prepare a makeshift bed. As he continues to dig, a discarded weapon suddenly activates.
No. Don't feed the weapon.
The man manages to assemble a crude resting place from the storehouse junk. The boy wearily makes his way to the bed and manages a heartfelt thanks. After studying the man for a moment, he begins to ask him questions.
He asked for my name, so I told him.
The name the man gives is that of the first model of clockwork soldiers. I was also a first once, says the boy. First in line to the throne, but no more. The man explains he was unable to carry out orders and discarded as defective. The boy responds that as his disease has grown worse, he too has been cast aside. You and I are much alike, says the boy with a sad smile. Weary of talking, the boy finally falls asleep. The man simply sits, keeping the boy's peaceful expression in the corner of his eye.
Solitary pistol.
This is the story of a gun-wielding mechanical soldier. I suppose these are memories of when he first met the boy with the staff.
Seems like it.
Well then, let's head over to the castle. This isn't a terribly welcoming atmosphere. the privilege of youth to move forward by breaking everything in your path.
It is the weird statues.
Don't you think it's about time we get a move on? It would be much easier if we could just crash through those awful black barriers.
Is it saying we can't? There's a circle around here now.
Now this is an odd room. Well, let's keep going. It's a waterfall of sand. Looks like the path goes through it. Maybe there's a way to stop the flow. Is that a switch? The sand stopped. Oh, how lovely. Now we can move past it.
I didn't open that one, but I see something. Oh, we got something. Yeet. Oh, I think the circle isn't an ability, it's just to show you where your character is so you don't lose it. Da-da-da-da.
There's a switch here, too. Give it a push. Ah, this one opens up the first path. How clever.
Yes. Although they are in the line. The bro moments have come, and the come has come.
The path is open now.
Here's a door. We can go through here now. It's a weird room. Auto defense, great team. You can choose to I don't know why. Those are easy.
Found you, Mr. Scarecrow. Let's get to restoring this memory.
Go on between stories. I'm not that funny of a guy. But I'm not too used to this.
The cold room burdens the boy, and his condition worsens.
Oh,
The man looks about and sees what appears to be a bottle of medicine.
it can be just about a bottle of anything.
But upon taking it in hand and looking at the label, he realizes it is actually a weapon of poison gas.
Don't know why that causes what are they doing?
Enemy forces sighted.
Sure, there's another one. There's anything otherwise?
The man continues to search for medicine that might aid the boy. It seems the storehouse expands beyond the junk pile pressed against the wall.
Wait. Oh, wait, it's just stuck in the junk here. There just happens to be a bunch of medicine here. Alright, well, it's a storehouse, so I guess that makes sense.
He retrieves a bottle from the shelf and returns to the bed where the boy waits.
If they threw him out because he was sick, about to die, why not? Yeah, why not just send him into the wilds and say
The boy looks at the man's gift and chuckles. Empty bottles won't cure me, I'm afraid, he says as the man stares at him blankly. Still, says the boy. He suddenly stands, as if a thought has come to mind.
Break out of the area.
The boy places a candle in the bottle, turning it into a small lamp. He then begins to sing in a small, quiet voice. By the power of his will does the hero draw his sword, to stop the mean advances of the darkness in the world. He will use this light to lead away the people from fear's horde.
There we go.
It is the song of a hero who challenges evil in order to save his people. The lamp flickers warmly as the man thinks. Thank you, he says finally. Those words should not have existed in the man. The boy's shocked stare slowly becomes a smile, bright enough to last a lifetime. In the corner of a frigid room, these two companions are comforted by the same warmth.
Is Mama gonna talk? Solitary pistol level 10.
I imagine you're getting used to this by now.
Kind of.
Wonderful. Let's keep it up. These stairs look terribly unsafe.
Don't tell me what's gonna break.
It does seem like an effective way to keep intruders out, though. The cage is just filled with mysteries, isn't it?
I'm wondering, like, are we always gonna be with the sandy area, or is it gonna change into like a lighter? Or at least a
Oh,
area?
that's...
Yeah, it's a little intro.
It's the monster that attacked us earlier.
Gonna change up to it. And it looks like a wasp.
Are you going to chase it?
Why not? Actually, it's just in my way to be more accurate. Running and running and running around, listen where this thing moves me along. Where could you possibly
It's almost
go?
like it's calling to us.
And appear that way. We're following it now, I guess. Run, 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 where did we go?
It's not here.
The thing had wings and it has arms and stuff.
Well, let's take care of the scarecrow for now.
Okay, I see you. I see you, bird. Near What's up here? To face the father. Or again, where is this time?
Soldiers' voices drift in from outside. The kingdom has once again declared war.
I would probably consider it a homicidal kingdom.
The boy looks at the man and opens his heart. He once lacked the courage to stand against his father and had stayed complicit. But now he burns to stop the king and protect his people from the horrors of war.
wonder if his
The
father.
passion in his eyes is evident.
Bruh. Is he gonna use his gun to break it, or? Like, full punch.
The man breaks through the door, and the boy follows after.
Yeah. Another loading screen. Okay, we're taking it off. The front room is this way. This cabin. Put up. He just straight up has a fucking gun. Wait, these are the same soldiers that were abducting people and turning them. Loading. We're almost there. Come on. Running and running and running about. Going through the things I get messed down.
As a divine light shines behind him, the king glares down at the two interlopers. In a bold voice, the boy shouts up at the king. By my name as the firstborn, I propose this war be ended. In that moment, he is just like the hero of his song. With a sneer, the king looks to the clockwork soldier and says, The man freezes, but he cannot disobey his master, for that is how he was programmed.
Why couldn't he disobey orders? The whole thing?
With a shaking hand, he readies his gun.
No, I can't kill. Kill.
The boy stares straight at the man from the end of the barrel.
One-headed elbow.
Unable to resist his orders, the man's finger hovers over the trigger.
No.
In a final, desperate move, the man shuts down his own motor circuits. His finger lets go of the trigger, and he falls to his knees before the boy.
Did he deactivate, or?
It is the first time he has resisted orders of his own volition. All to save the boy.
I thought he couldn't save.
With an animalistic cry, the king rises up before the pair.
Be abound.
The king's roar brings soldiers running as he demands they tear the traitors apart. The man seizes the boy's hand, and they begin to run from the castle.
Run. Be gone.
For the first time in his existence, the man finally has a will of his own.
Like, was he in there on the
A memory of war. So that's why that poor child was driven from his country. The king wished for control, while the prince prayed for peace and happiness. They were both thinking of their country. So why did it have to end up so? Why is there a person in a place like this?
Excuse me, miss.
Polygon person.
I've been waiting here for a really long time. But my mommy still hasn't come.
Oh, I guess there's
Oh, I
different.
miss my mommy so much, and I was hoping you could put me in that scarecrow like you did with Mr. Monster.
64 villain.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, thank you.
Mama can't help you.
Yeah, consider subscribing if you think it was good enough. Thank you for watching the stream.
Let's be off.
Scorpion Elder. Yeah, so I guess there's... I guess people can lose what's referred to as Mama. I guess he was just lost here, trying to find his way.
That old man has been expelled from the story. I feel terrible, but there's nothing we can do for him. We must be careful not to end up lost like him.
I guess we're part of a greater story is the whole point of the cage. The cage is the story, and we are a small part of it. So there's this.
It seemed like that old man knew about you and the monster. And he spoke like a child. I wonder what happened to him.
I don't know. Wait, do you think his mama is like that one creature that's either we're following it or it's following us? Maybe that creature was his mama.
This is the last part of the mechanical soldier's story. Let's see how the memory ends, shall we?
First, we know they escape. And then later on, that they commit die. Was the clocksmith?
The escapees arrive at the town outside the castle and find people in a panic over the impending war.
And fine, let's go. That boy is from the royal family. We're not pawns for your damn war. Stop taking things away from us. Don't let them escape. You know, if people are chasing us, we probably shouldn't, This is where you die, traitors.
I'll cut down.
Somehow, the two managed to escape beyond the borders of the kingdom. Looking back on their former home, they each make an oath. The boy swears to travel the nation as its prince and bring an end to the war, while the man promises to guard the prince until his dying moment. Together, they will sever the marionette strings the kingdom has bound them to. With determination in their hearts, they take their first steps into the future.
That's the one we saw in the beginning, was about the boy.
They both fought. The boy for peace, and the machine for him. That must be how their memories were intertwined. This is the third fragment.
Indeed, it's the fragment. Rare. Weapons, all the
prayer. Of all emotions, I believe this one might be especially human. It is a heart that fills in the blanks of a vague future.
Is that hope?
Well,
Answer.
do you feel anything different? My, that's wonderful. Let's keep this up and get those fragments back. Then your wish can come true too.
We shall continue our stairs to the story of beyond. I don't know what the... I don't remember the pawns being there. And apparently there are some. Okay, we are back, it looks like. I just finally downloaded. It is back now. Kill more swiftly than death before the final breath. Oh, it's a different area. Fuck yes. It's big fishy. It's big fishy, guys. Wait. It's I think it's a whole new story this time.
The cage feels quite different here. How lovely.
Maybe
I have something special for you that should serve as a nice change of pace. Once you're all refreshed, I know you'll find your second wind.
Unlocked. Exploration. Try exploration? No, I think I'll stick with the story.
Come play whenever you feel like it, all right?
Exploration is probably a different mode that we can choose anyways. Let's go ahead and
It's been awful and dusty for the most part, but the air here is nice and clear. Do you see that? The air is so clear here, fish even swim in it.
I don't think that's how fish work.
That's actually quite odd now that I think about it.
Yeah.
Looks like we found our first memory in this area. Oh my, this looks like a katana. Maybe we'll hear a story about a samurai. Let's have a look, shall we?
It's more than like 2 areas in the intro, so maybe once we get through this, we'll see the end of the part of the story. Well, now he's been quiet. It's bad. It's just a bit longer.
A man sits alone. Though he speaks, the target of his words is unseen. To this invisible listener, he offers praise for a task well handled. His eyes narrow. He hesitates. Then, his voice a rasp, he murmurs an instruction. On to the next. The target of his words is revealed behind the scrim of a dividing wall. She also sits alone. In her hand rests a small scroll adorned with a face. Slipping the scroll into the folds of her robe, she stands and makes her response. Understood.
Is this the opposing nation you were trying to attack? Or is the story even connected to the old one?
Thick clouds hang low against an ominous sky. The castle town bustles as people move to and fro. A family traveling the road catches her eye. The child smiles brightly, her eyes sparkling. The darkness of the woman's own life could never know such pleasant light. Brushing aside her melancholy, she makes to leave town. A sudden glimpse of silver catches the woman's eye as an assassin appears before her. A thin razor of a smile crosses her face. She knows this is exactly where she belongs.
Will she attack him or? Boink. Oh,
She
No,
claims the
that sword
assassin's
thing on
life
that.
before body can meet earth. In the silence that follows, she muses on her life. She walks a path of blood, a solitary path, far from family or comfort. Had she ever smiled as that child did? Could she? Such thoughts swirl in her mind as the woman considers a life she knows she will never have.
Didn't she just go like, I know? Okay, Still didn't.
Well, it seems this tale involves a female assassin.
Yes, indeed it does.
I wonder what the secret to her strength is. Do they just want to slow our progress? Or is there some deeper goal?
It's called we need tools for money.
Sometimes I wonder what those dark foes are trying to accomplish. My, that's a large gate. We certainly won't be able to lift this on our own.
Do we need to help with a specific person?
What a good eye you have. Here, let Mama take care of that for you.
It's not, but... Oh, are you getting giddy? You got it.
There now. That wasn't so hard.
Owen will be there.
A collapsed bridge? Oh dear.
Indeed, it is collapsed. What now?
The scarecrow is so close. There must be a way to get past this.
Maybe there's a air current?
Wait here, child. Mama will take a quick peek around.
Just don't leave me like the other did the other. Don't leave me like the other guy. Oh shit, I have to look for... Oh shit, I have to move as Mama.
Oh, but this is a bother. Who even lowered the water in the first place?
Yeah, you have to do it in specific
I
order.
do wish these levers weren't quite so heavy.
Yeah, well, let's go ahead and do this one and see if,
Wonderful! That did the trick. Now we can cross to the other side. That certainly did take a lot of time. Well, let's get back on our feet and continue with the restoration, shall we?
I'm just gonna do a quick checkup on.
The girl stares from within the sleep, her features weary as a woman thrice her years.
I turned down the volume. If I turned it down too much, I apologize. Run. This is her early years then.
Her life is an unending blur of training that continues without mercy or pause. Bones creak, flesh stings. Pain is her constant companion.
If you didn't know about
Yet she
luxuries in
forces
life,
herself down the hall all the same.
If you didn't know about luxuries and you just were training.
When she arrives at the garden, a bellowing roar orders her forward.
If you
Coming, she replies in a voice devoid of all feeling.
If you trained and trained, would you either be mindwashed or would you be?
She readies an apology for her tardiness, knowing full well it will not be heard. As suspected, the man cuts off her words and begins to berate her without pause. You will learn to honor punctuality, girl. You are a tool of our master, and a tool is of no use if it is not present when needed. Thus begins another day of the girl's deadly training.
So if someone did nothing but train since birth and their relaxation was meal and sleep, do you think potatoes and washing them on the shore? I really doubt the answers.
Her family has served their lord's clan for generations. When the lord decides an enemy needs to die, her family carries out the sentence. Her path had been laid before she was even born. The path of a trained killer. There is no freedom for her, no thought of a different way. The path simply was.
Wrong go straight up. Not to
The woman does not
Kyoko.
bemoan her fate, for she has never known another.
the one that oversaw Kyoko, I think. Not anywhere related to Nier. It's I don't know why that wasn't activating before. Weird.
Yet, when she thinks of the things she will never have, she feels a terrible sadness. But she presses on regardless, leaving such distractions behind.
If she's so well
At some
trained-
point, she realizes that rain has begun to fall. Through the droplets, she spies a castle with a dark and enigmatic aura.
if she's so
Soon
well
she
trained,
finds a
she'd probably
lone
be
guard standing
fine.
before a gate.
The problem is she doesn't know how.
Moving without sound, she looses her sword.
There's no way to avoid it.
With death delivered, she sheathes her blade and presses on.
Why would... I'm seeing that story. I want to see what she did when she got to the castle. I guess that's what we'll see in the next story. But this is the second one. So I think it's 4. So we need to go 3 and 4. We're going to have this part.
Her whole life had been decided before she was even born. It's rather a tragedy, don't you think?
That'd be a really
I'm
good
sure
one.
you must have a
Pretty nice.
birthplace as well. A place you...
We're born or created. Now to go forward.
Hmm? Do you hear that?
Sounds like just one key of the piano. Huh. That's 3 keys. How the fuck do you interpret that as a giggle? and as
That's-
a giggle? Oh shit, I blocked it.
It escaped again.
It's playing music.
What's
Oh.
that sound? Oh! The stairs make music when you step on them.
Thought that was obvious, but alright. Oh, this is cool.
Do you think that monster was playing the steps?
It was only playing 2 keys. I think maybe 3. God.
That's a rather cute thing to do, don't you think?
Maybe the monster is a reflection of who we are? It doesn't seem evil in the slightest. Except for its appearance, but... On to the next story. Yay. Yep, I think we should go in with this. Indeed, we shall go.
The woman moves ever deeper into the castle in search of her target.
E.
Her mission is to kill the son of an enemy lord and halt his possible succession.
That doesn't seem too cash money. It's not very cash money of you. A run and a run and a run, we go, and a thing and a thing and a thing, we be.
The enemy army values blood. If the successor were to die, chaos will inevitably follow.
Are we trying to kill the successor if that's what's gonna happen? Bing. I have teleportation.
Slaying the
You
son will
cannot kill me.
create confusion, giving her own lord an opening for attack.
I don't think it's gonna end up that way, Chief. Just doesn't seem like giving me them vibes. Running and running and see we can be running and
She passes through the corridors and moves toward a reception room. Outside, the rain falls in endless gray sheets.
Flying sheets.
A child sits alone, his frame made smaller by the size of the room.
Oh shit, she has to kill a child.
She recognizes the boy's face from her scroll. Without a word, she draws her sword
Bitch,
and points
don't you
the tip at
fucking
the
dare.
child's throat. Yet he simply stares at the cold steel, making no move to escape. As the woman studies the child's haggard face, she realizes something. This is no son of a lord, but instead a girl frocked in boy's clothing. The woman asks her target why this is. As if a dam has burst, the girl suddenly lets fly with a torrent of grievance. I wish this house and this entire nation would fall.
Is she gonna topple the child? It really doesn't seem to be that'll come on and then you've got a console game. And then Otto is
The girl begins to tell her tale. I am not but a puppet who dances at my father's tune. I'm no child to him, merely a tool to be used. I even denied my own heart and took false gender in order to fulfill my role. And as this house's tool, I live only to be killed. So please, just bring this to pass. End me. The girl's eyes turn to rest on the woman. This is who I used to be. Set to walk a path before I had even drawn breath. The woman's sword wavers. Her hand hesitates. Outside, the rain falls as if it was trying to blot out the very earth itself. And yet somehow, it feels quiet.
fuck. Yo. I wanted to know what happened. I like this story a lot. I like all those stories. They fucking end. I'm gonna have to get to the last one, but it just means I have to do more fucking battles. Level 3. And I think
The
that one goes
next
up to level
memory
4.
should be the last one in this area.
That's what it would seem. Let's go.
I wonder what that monster wants. And those other dark foes, for that matter. I think the last scarecrow in this area is inside this building. Oh my! Again! What terrible timing these things have.
Yeah, indeed, they're quite fucking.
Mama will open.
Don't know what audio just cut off.
There! Can you get through now?
I can, yes. But forward we shall go, comrades.
This next memory should restore the weapon.
Yeah, it's the 4th memory, and I want to see what happens to the girl.
The scarecrow is right there.
What are you starting it on?
Brave faces now.
Because if you're starting it on blue stacks, there's something you have to do. Okay, if you're doing it on blue stacks, you have to get the 64-bit version. Sorry, there's a delay, so if I take this multiple times, that's part of this one. So, it doesn't work for some devices. I would look up Nier Reincarnation supported devices and see if it works. Definitely, I don't know why. It's not like it's a terribly hard game to run. It's just that for some reason it just wants a higher bitrate. I'll be right back.
The only sound is the rain. A long moment passes. The woman sheathes her blade. She then asks the bewildered girl, "Did you mean it when you said you wish your house would fall?" Shaking, the girl nods. The woman responds, "Understood." Suddenly, the sounds of an army clattering into place emerge behind them. A score of soldiers bursts into the reception room. The woman's face is the very picture of composure. "Come then," she whispers.
Is this a battle or is this a battle?
The girl runs over and takes her hand. Why had she done this? The sound of the rain begins to fade. People cannot choose the station of their birth. One can scarcely even choose their own manner of death in this violent, bleeding world. But perhaps one can choose to let another live. I was a tool of my house who carried out her role. My hands are stained with sins beyond counting. I doubt this will absolve me of my actions, but it might make a nice gift to bring with me into hell. She can no longer hear the rain. Tears roll down the girl's cheeks, and on the woman's face is something almost like a smile.
A lot of these are just sad.
Perhaps freedom, in the truest meaning of the word, never existed to begin with. We are bound by heavy chains, which closes many doors, and one often lacks the will to choose from the remaining options.
Sometimes, yes. I must absorb Q. Anger. Unlocked. Weapon.
Anger. This is the fourth fragment that you've lost. What is your anger meant for?
Or the chicken dendy.
Is it for a person? The world? Your fate? Or perhaps yourself?
Who knows?
The time when you will also have to choose draws nearer.
I guess we can go to the next spot. Sorry. Guess that's the entire purpose behind it, but, you know. Maybe how to be. Snowy peaks. Oh shit. It's ice now. Maybe all like the spots that were mentioned in the 2B quest was like all of these areas. That probably means there might be another area that's just a giant cave. And or maybe not.
Brr, it's so cold all of a sudden. Is this snow that's falling?
It looks like it.
Even the cage has varying weather, it seems.
press on and on and on. Wonder what the next guy's story is. 'Cause, all the stories.
Falling snow, glimmering icicles. Why, even that fabric is frozen over.
I would imagine if everything's frozen.
I never thought I'd get to see such a beautiful sight. Mama is truly touched.
Another thing, why is it called Mama?
The fifth weapon should be here. As well as the fifth fragment. Now, let's head for the Dark Scarecrow.